I'd like to call this Board of Education meeting to order at 7:15 p.m. It is November 22nd. It is our regular meeting hosted at Stratford High School. We have a quorum, 5 members present and 1 virtual, Amy Wiltsey. I'm going to start with opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. We beseech you, Almighty God, to bless this meeting of the Board of Education. So guide and rule over our hearts and our minds, that all our deliberations and decisions may be made in accordance with your will, and lead to the advancement and welfare of the community of Stratford whom we serve. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We're going to start this evening with a couple recognitions led by Superintendent Asunde.
All right, good evening, board. Good evening to our community members who are here with us tonight. One of the things we began a few months back is taking time to recognize people who really dive into the work that we do to make the Stratford Public Schools work. And this month we will be recognizing our technology department. Not to sound corny and use a dad joke, but this is a team that has really kept us connected. So at this time, I would like to call Department Supervisor Mr. Ed Malloy up to the podium to say a few remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Sunday. Good evening. Today we recognize the Technology Department's efforts for going above and beyond during the pandemic. Joining us tonight are 3 members of our department. I'd like each of you to stand when I call out your name. Valerie Calvinisi, our software specialist. Valerie was instrumental in providing teachers with short video demonstrations with all the new web applications that came our way during the pandemic. Like many members of the department, she went above and beyond and did much more. And I can go on for a while, but I won't, but thank you, Valerie. Next, I'd like to recognize Pam Finnegan, who I work right next to every day. Pam is our Power School specialist, and that's a pretty big responsibility. That's our student information system. But aside from working very hard all the time, Pam had to adjust quite a bit during the pandemic. The state changed attendance rules. Internally, we changed grade policies. And it was a lot of work to learn it and roll it out. As you know, we have a pretty good sized district. So Pam went above and beyond. She even helped us on weekends and nights hand out Chromebooks when we were shorthanded. So thank you, Pam, and we appreciate you. One more member was able to come tonight, Victor Bernadel. Victor is our network manager. He's also the most experienced person in our department. He's been with us 28 years. In fact, Vinny Fagella hired him when he was director of technology. Victor, as you can imagine, a network engineer, keeps our network running 24/7, keeps us safe. You can imagine the threats we have from everywhere, firewalls, and he keeps us up and running, and we needed that, especially during the pandemic. So thank you, Victor. We have a total of 11 members of our department, and obviously all weren't able to join us tonight. Andrew Downs is our data specialist who writes reports and connects our systems. Matt Rivers is our lead tech, and he led initiatives related to our Chromebook distributions and repair. Rylan Demers is a very special, he's technically our secretary, our administrative assistant, but he is way beyond that. He's a clerical person and he's a technical person. Right now, by the way, he's at Johnson School handing out Chromebooks for the Lordship situation. Unable to attend were our building techs, Marcin Artowitz, Dave Russo, Rich Lewis, and Claude Magnan, but all were very instrumental in providing the 8,000 Chromebooks we needed during the pandemic. So on behalf of the Stratford schools, I'd like to thank this talented group of professionals, the 3 who are here today and our others who weren't able to attend. And just join me in thanking this group once more. Thank you. We have a few gifts we're going to hand out.
I would just like to say we cannot forget about their fearless leader. Ed Malloy is somebody who, at the snap of a finger, if there's anything I need, he's there. So again, appreciation to Ed Malloy and the rest of the team.
Thank you for the water bottle.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Take this opportunity and bless you. Recognize 1994. 1994. We're lucky to have you.
Yes.
Kind of upset nobody laughed at my dad joke. Kept us connected. Okay, next we're going to recognize, we're going to take a moment to recognize the members of this existing board whose terms are coming to an end. And for me, from my chair to each of you, I want to say that you've left an impact. And I remember when I joined the Stratford Board of Education as the superintendent of schools, I had a chance to sit with each of you to know what was important to you and why you engaged in this work. And Ms. Rohde, I remember sitting with you and you talking about how passionate you were about the work that you want to see happen for all the children of Stratford and all the teachers of Stratford. And I remember you speaking about the teacher who left an impact in your life. And I believe the title of the poem was Red Pen?
Yeah.
Red Pen. Your attention to detail and your passion is unmatched. So I want to say thank you. Next, Mr. Fagella. How many total years have you spent with the Stratford Public Schools?
Stratford Public Schools. Well, I started in 1964. Okay? I started as a teacher, and then I worked my way up administrator and school and then district-wide. And I've been in almost every department. I was in charge of testing, the grants, IT, adult education, summer school.
Yes.
So I kind of touched every, so.
1964, and on behalf of the Stratford community, we can't thank you enough for your years of service. I remember sitting on your back patio and having a conversation with you, and you walking me chronologically through this timeline. And really, last week, I saw you speak with a high level of passion around the plant work we're doing with the Snyder study, and that becomes your legacy. Okay, that becomes your legacy. You've made an impact. And Bob DiLorenzo is not with us today, but I don't know if there's anybody more Stratford, right? And I want to extend my appreciation to him and his support for the Stratford Public Schools and the work that we do for children. And then to close, Allison Del Bene, I don't know if they come any more sharper than you. You've left some big shoes to fill, and you've left a legacy, and I want to say thank you for advocating for all of our teachers, advocating for all of our families, and making the best decisions for our children. At a time where leadership was extremely hard, you guys took the reins and you got together and you put Stratford first, and we are working our way through that. And it will be on the rest of the new coming members to continue to build on that work. So on behalf of the Stratford Public Schools, our families, our teachers, our staff, and our children, we would like to extend a thank you to each of you.
Yes. On video. Thank you. I'm just going to share a couple words, reflections, if you will. Stratford is a special community that I am proud to have grown up in and be a part of and serve for the past 4 years. I believe in our superintendent, our administration, our teachers, our students, that we will continue to reflect and grow as a school district and as a community. So thank you all for giving me and us this opportunity to serve the town of Stratford and the kids here. So.
Thank you.
I don't know if anybody else wanted to say anything now or at the end of the meeting.
I can do it now. I just want to thank the community for trusting me with their students and the staff. And I am just so honored to be able to give back to the community. And our kids are amazing, our staff is amazing, and our board has been amazing. We've all worked really hard together, and I'm just proud to be a part of it, and I hope to be able to continue to give back in some capacity. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Karen.
If I could just say a few words, as I mentioned, I've been around for a long time. But I've enjoyed, first of all, living in this town of Stratford. I went to Franklin School in kindergarten, so that's quite a few years ago. But also in being able to serve the town, I really felt it an honor and a privilege to serve the town and to do whatever I could to try to improve the school district. My children went through the schools here, and I appreciate everything that the staff, the teachers, the administrative staff, our superintendents, both Dr. Robinson and Dr. Asunde. As you could see before, I was involved in hiring some of the people, and I tried to hire the best because I felt the town deserved the best. And so I want to thank you for the opportunity serving, and I also want to thank the other board members for the job that they've done. So thank you.
We are back to business. There are no public speakers tonight. Don't know how that happened, but we are moving on to student representatives. Rayhan, if you'd like to go first, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rehan Nagedu, and I have the honor of being the Bernadel student representative this year. Once again, thank you for having me this evening. In honor of Thanksgiving, Bernadel is bringing back the tradition of Spirit Week. Today was Pajama Day, tomorrow is Rep Your Flag Day, and Wednesday is Unity Day. We are also excited to announce that our FBLA Student Leadership Group will be sponsoring an outdoor pep rally on Wednesday afternoon in order to get students excited for the Thanksgiving Eve football game versus Stratford High, which will be hosted at Bernadel at 7 p.m. Last week, we welcomed the newest addition to the Bulldog family, English teacher Matthew Soto. A Stratford High graduate, Mr. Soto is a first-year teacher who completed his student teaching at Shelton Intermediate School and has worked with the Lighthouse program in Bridgeport for several years. Congratulations, Mr. Soto. We are excited to have you on board. Earlier this month, we celebrated the October Students of the Month for each subject area. Over 15 students were recognized for their academic excellence and social-emotional learning skills. In addition to this, the BHS administration kicked off the Positive Phone Calls Home initiative. Every week, teachers submit their nominations to BHS admins through a Google Sheet, and the admins and counselors then divide the list and call each of the students home. So far, over 120 calls have been made, and parents appreciate hearing the positive feedback about their child. On November 16th, Bernadel successfully administered the online PSAT to all 9th grade students. Bernadel teachers and administrators will analyze these scores and data teams in order to identify areas of growth to support these students academically. This was the first time a PSAT was ever administered electronically, and this offered the staff an opportunity to learn the new platform in preparation for the SAT school day next March. On November 10th and 16th, our math department head, Dr. Swanepoel, facilitated the American Math Competition with over 140 students taking part in the online or paper and pencil competition held in our library and media center. Teachers selected students who have an out-of-the-box math mindset. The AMC program leads the nation in strengthening mathematical capabilities of the next generation of problem solvers and positively impacts the analytical skills needed for future careers in an innovative society. The 21st Century program has continued to thrive. Students will meet every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday after school for a quick snack, homework help, and to engage in many fun activities. The Empower Leadership program, which is sponsored by the 21st Century program, has participated in 2 weeks of workshops which centered around the student leadership and team building exercises. The training and leadership program continues virtually as this new team of Bernadel and Stratford High students continue to work towards successful completion of their leadership program. In addition to working a part of the 21st Century program, these students will serve in a variety of leadership roles within our school as the year progresses. The newly formed Men of Color Leadership Group and students from Inspire Ed have recently been recognized for volunteering at the grand opening of the Ruby and Calvin Fletcher African American Museum here in Stratford. The Men of Color Leadership also attended a virtual conference last month. This group meets every Tuesday, and they're planning a number of field trips and events and volunteering opportunities. We're also pleased to announce that English teacher Mr. Covino has taken the role as student government advisor. Both class council and student government elections were held earlier this month, and students are eager to get to work and planning events for our school. Additionally, several students and staff members have stepped up to create many new extracurricular opportunities at Bernadel. Some of these clubs include the Operation Gratitude Poetry and Music Initiative, the Sustainable Fashion Club, the Sports Debate Group, and the Esports Club. Stay tuned for all the future updates regarding these new opportunities for our students. And from our athletic department, congratulations to the November Athletes of the Month, who are Benjamin Leros for cross country and Savannah Dinazzo for dance. Our boys soccer team qualified for the state tournament, and our boys football team is in contention for a state tournament playoff berth. And last week, 2 senior student athletes signed their letters of intent on November 15th. Congratulations to Mia DePronio, who signed to play soccer at Iona, and congratulations to Jordan Mariana, who signed to play girls lacrosse at Pace. And from our music department, the Bernadel Stratford Marching Band completed another successful season, placing 2nd at the Connecticut State Championship, and 7th at state or national championships, which were held at MetLife Stadium. In addition to this, the band is wrapping up their feature film debut in Disney's Shank and Dunk, where they were featured in many scenes. The film is scheduled to release August of 2022. The band and Color Guard are proud to represent their school in the town of Stratford. Once again, thank you for allowing me to share all the great things happening up and out. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rayhan. Rebecca?
Good evening, my name is Rebecca and I'm the Stratford High Board Rep. On October 28th, Stratford High School held the Manu Exposition in our lecture hall. Junior Achievement of Fairfield County hosted this event that was organized by Yvonne Temple and Gabby Tozzi. The main focus was on manufacturing jobs in our area, highlighted by Bigelow, T. and Sikorsky. Over 40 students attended this event. On October 31st, 3 Stratford High students, including Kelsey Welch, Chris Desero, and myself, and I, volunteered their time and talents at the Strange Stratford Tours. This series of tours took participants to Stratford landmarks, where they were treated to fascinating stories of Stratford history and legends. Stratford resident and historian Mary Ann Valhack coordinated this inaugural program and helped prepare the students to serve as narrators. This was a phenomenal experience for all involved, and everyone truly got to learn about Stratford and its fascinating history. November 4th marked the return of our senior group photo. Mr. O'Neill and Mr. Del Piano organized a rooftop photo as the seniors created a 22 on the new turf field, signifying the graduating class of 2022. Parent conferences were held on November 9th, and this virtual event proved to be a great success. Teachers were in their classrooms and welcomed virtual visitors over a 5-hour period, split between 2 hours in the afternoon and 3 hours in the evening. November 10th marked the second time SHS administered the AMC math test. We expanded the student participation to over 170 students in grades 9 through 12. This is a nationwide test, and we are currently waiting for the results to see if any of our students will be moving on to the next round. Additionally, our math team competes on the first Wednesday of each month in the Fairfield County Math League with 32 other public and private high schools. We are thrilled to be able to offer these events for our students and thank Dr. Asende, Dr. Geta, and the Board of Education for their support with these phenomenal opportunities. SHS Drama Club hosted the Mousetrap on November 12th through the 14th. Thanks to the hard work from the health department, we were safely able to have a limited audience for our students to show off their talents. DVDs of the production are for sale for anyone who missed the performance. November 16th marked the PSAT for our 9th grade students. This was the first time the test was administered virtually, and despite some technical difficulties, 289 freshmen were able to complete the entire test. That proved to us that with a great learning experience as we prepare for the SAT school day administration that will be administered to juniors in the spring of 2022, which will also be virtual. Our Red and Gold Cafe has opened and has been headlined with some great food and a star-filled guest list. Dr. Asende and Dr. Geta attended, followed by a return visit by Dr. Geta and the coordinators from the central office. We hope everyone enjoyed their visit. The Interact Club, sponsored by the Stratford Rotary Club, is back up and running at Stratford High School. We would like to thank Mr. Keevy for leading our students in this exciting opportunity. One of our guidance counselors and head football coaches, Mr. Nate Tyler, organized a food drive to help benefit the Sterling House Community Center. Stratford High School's 21st Century After School program has been going strong. Over the past few weeks, some of our students in the program have partnered with Bernadel for leadership training run by Mr. Dan Jascott from the Empowerment Leadership Sports and Adventure Center. This program entailed 3 in-person meetings and includes multiple online meetings. At the conclusion of the training, students will receive their Facilitator Training Certificate of Completion. We hope that the students in this program inspire positive changes in our school community. The National Honor Society is doing some fantastic volunteer work. From creating thoughtful cards for veterans to tutoring students after school, the NHS has accumulated a plethora of community service hours. Their next event is the Great Rake, which is completed through a partnership with Sterling House. This wonderful event entails groups of volunteers spending time raking leaves of the homes for those who might not be able to do it themselves. World Kindness Day was once again celebrated at Stratford High School with help of the Be Kind Club. Kind notes were posted on lockers throughout the school, and kindness quotes were said over the morning announcements. Our Todd Stoltz Memorial Student Faculty Flag Football game was held on Wednesday, November 17th, and for the 4th year in a row, the faculty came out victorious with a 21-6 victory. This game had been This game had the largest attendance and participation in the 4 years it has been played. A special thanks to all the students and staff that played in this hard-fought game. Tomorrow night marks the return of our annual Bernadel versus SHS Powder Puff Flag football game. This highly competitive and exciting game features senior girls from both high schools as they showcase their athletic ability on the gridiron. Tickets are available at the door and all are welcome. Fall sports have completed and football will play their last games as Wednesday night brings us to the Thanksgiving tradition of the Stratford Bernadel football game. Best of luck to both teams. As we prepare for Thanksgiving, all of us at Stratford High School hope you take the time to rest, think about what you are grateful for, and then give thanks and express gratitude and kindness to all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. You are both excused if you'd like, or we are now actually going to break for the reception, so you are all invited. We are going to recess, take a short recess at 7:41. I'd like to call this Board of Ed meeting back to order at 8:02 p.m. We are moving on to the consent, excuse me, I'm ahead of myself here. The administrative executive report, we'll start with Dr. Sunday.
Yes, thank you, Board Chair. So it's hard to believe the first quarter moved by pretty quickly, and it's really taken the whole village to get us through the first quarter. Collective effort, but we've made it through, and our goal is to make sure that the second quarter is better than the first quarter. I'm going to cover a broad range of topics in my report. First, I would like to publicly announce that we have filled the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Supervisor role with a very familiar name, Yvonne Temple, currently a member of our HR department, will be filling that role. She is a professional who's got deep roots in our community. She is a parent of students in our school system, obviously a resident, and she has led a few different initiatives over the years, including the minority teacher recruitment program, as well as she's a co-advisor for Inspire Ed. The next piece that I want to talk about is probably timely as we look to go into the holiday break, the Thanksgiving Day break. So over the last 10 or 11 weeks, as a school community and as a community at large, we've done an outstanding job with mitigating the spread and transmission or exposure to COVID-19 virus. For the past 10 or 11 weeks, we've averaged about 1 or 2, maybe 3 cases a day. And when you think about 6,700 kids and about 1,000 professionals, that is remarkable. Over the last week or so, we've seen slight bumps. Based on the data and my discussion with our health supervisor, we have averaged over the last 4 or 5 days about 7 cases a day. Today alone, we had 12. Okay. Yesterday, I made the decision. We had to move or pivot Lordship Elementary to remote learning. And we anticipate, as we continue to go through contact tracing, we anticipate a full return the Monday after Thanksgiving. I do want to take a moment, okay, because it was a difficult decision, but I do want to take a moment to acknowledge a few people who were on calls with me late into the evening, doing this work to make sure that we respond and support Lordship as we made this transition. Certainly Kim Velasquez, the full cabinet, Ed Malloy and his team were able to mobilize automatically. Kate Murphy, all the staff, all the professional staff at Lordship, just an outstanding job of truly being a village to make sure we support the educational needs of Lordship as an elementary school. I would like to also note that this weekend, the Stratford Public Schools offered the vaccination clinic for our kids 5 through 11. And Kim Velasquez reports that we had almost 380 little ones get vaccinated. That's outstanding, that's remarkable. Again, our aim is to offer choice, not to require it, not to mandate it, but offer choice to our families who choose to move in that direction. I would like to To also touch on the committee report, it's possible that Mr. Figello might speak a little bit more broadly to it a little bit later. But last week we sat down with Snyder Associates, and they provided us with a comprehensive, about 114-page report, really impressive work that speaks really to the physical infrastructure of some of our buildings. But really what they were looking at is aspects of our physical infrastructure that may need attention over the next 10 years. And this is particularly important because part of my vision is making sure that Stratford kids engage in a learning environment that's modern and contemporary. As a district, we've done an outstanding job over the last couple of years, really kind of paying attention to roofs across our portfolio of schools as well as flooring. One of the recommendations that Mr. Snyder made was paying attention and taking opportunities to remove carpet from some of our buildings, which I think is a doable ask. So we're going through the process right now. We have a preliminary report. We are soliciting more feedback from principals, head custodians, and then after we're able to curate that information, Mr. Snyder is going to provide us with a final report. We're hopeful that after that final report comes out, we can invite him to do a presentation to the full board. But the idea is that we can marry this report with our demographic report and come up with some new recommendations to the board for our work moving forward. And then last, I had the opportunity to join Bernadel High School and Stratford High School last week at Paradise Pizza. Everybody's excited about this rivalry game, and I've heard a lot of the historical stories. I've seen some pictures. I saw a picture of Principal Delpiano and Lieutenant Eller, way back in the day. So I'm excited for this game, and we're looking forward to having our families come out and celebrate community and cheer on our student athletes. And that's it for the superintendent's executive report.
Thank you. Questions from board members? Seeing none, moving to Ms. Mangini's report.
Sure, thank you. Just a couple of items that I'd like to share with you. Of course, during the Finance Committee meeting, you did receive an updated financial report for year-to-date fiscal year 22, and we did acknowledge some of our concerns with our year-end budget projection, and we will continue to monitor and report on those items. The fiscal year 23 budget development process is underway. We've been supporting our schools as well as our departments as they work through the process. And beginning next week, Dr. Sunday and I will be meeting with each individual principal to go through their budget requests, their new initiatives that they are requesting, and we will be meeting with the individual departments as well. Lastly, we have been working on the capital budget, and each school did submit their capital budget request, and we've put together the 5-year budget plan to share with the town. We will be reviewing it a little bit further. We will be prioritizing it before we bring it to the board, and hopefully in January, you'll have an opportunity to approve it before we send it to the town. And that's my report for this evening.
Thank you. Questions from board members?
I do have a question.
Ms. Cupie?
Ms. Mangini, I know we've been adding many tutors with the grants that we have for after-school tutoring. Are we providing transportation for after-school tutoring for those kids who are participating in these programs?
Yes, we are providing an after-school bus at each of the schools that have requested one, dependent upon how many students are actually participating, but we are providing transportation.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Wiltie?
Hi, thank you. Pam, I have a quick question regarding enrollment. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Am I echoing?
Nope, you're good.
Okay. So during our finance meeting, it was alluded to that we had about 130 students in surplus from last year. The report we just got was 88. So I just want to verify what is the accurate number.
I did the math, Amy, really quickly, so shame on me. I was looking at the 6,000 number in this middle section, not the latter number of 7,000 plus.
Human error.
But the report you received is accurate. I misspoke.
Okay, no, I just wanted to make sure for record that we have the accurate number on.
You got it.
Thank you.
Any more questions from board members? Thank you, Ms. Mangini. Dr. Gata?
Good evening, everyone.
Oop. Is it on?
Good evening.
Maybe bring it closer.
A little closer.
Good evening.
Better.
Better.
So as you all know, on November 2nd, we had Election Day, and that is also the opportunity for us as educators to enjoy some professional development on that day. We had a combination this year of not only district-wide professional development, but building-based professional development as well. All staff remained in their buildings. They were able to attend PD sessions mostly in person, but there were some opportunities for sessions that were offered through video conferencing. On that day, over 85 sessions were offered, ranging from 1 hour to 6 hours in length. At least 75, closer to 80 teachers, CIAs, and administrators facilitated most of the professional development on that day. Some staff attended one session if the session ran the entire day. Others might have attended a 2-3 hour session or 3 2-hour sessions, depending upon the sessions that they were scheduled for or selected. Over 500 staff, having attended a minimum of one session, responded to a follow-up survey. And overall, of the individuals who completed the survey, over 90% responded that the sessions they attended were relevant or extremely relevant to their position. They were also asked for suggestions for future professional development, and we received 11 pages worth of suggestions and recommendations. And these were recommendations were shared with our Professional Development and Evaluation Committee, as well as building principals, as a resource for planning for our April 1st PD sessions. So, and also staff will be surveyed as well, and those will be building-based sessions in professional development. So, just wanted to share that with you. We're really very fortunate to have staff to step up to provide professional development for our teachers, our administrators, and our CIAs as well. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Gata. Any questions from board members? Okay, thank you again. Moving on to the consent agenda, I will take both of these items grouped together. I'll entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes and the personnel document.
So moved.
We need the motion first, and then
Yeah, I move to go ahead with the...
second.
Motion made by Mr. Vagelis, seconded by Ms. Cupie. Discussion? Okay, we were grouping them together, Karen, so you can speak to either. Can you put your microphone closer? I'm sorry.
Dr. Sunday had said in his report that he had assigned a new position, and that is not listed in our document, and it doesn't say is she being, her old position being replaced, and what is the new position salary, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That stuff is all not there.
So the question, just to clarify, because I don't know if your mic is on or not, Karen, Dr. Sunday had spoken to the new position that, it's not on? Okay. That Yvonne Temple stepped into, so who was filling her old position and so forth and so on.
Yeah, so we're going to post for that position, but the salary that the new diversity, equity, inclusion specialist is going to receive as well was posted.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
The vacancy at the HR position, we're going to post for that. I've had ongoing conversations with Courtney Brown and Ms. Mangini. We're going to post for that to fill that. We do have a transition plan in place, but the salary for the new diversity equity position is funded through the RPASSR grant, and it will be at the compensation rate that we listed in the posting.
So just as a follow-up question, does her new hire have to go in the next month's personnel report, even though it's grant funded? And will it?
That off. Yes, it will go into the next report.
Okay.
She's aware that it's only a grant position, that once the grant is up, it's up.
She is
correct?
fully aware.
Well, her current role is also grant funded partially, so she's quite familiar, yeah.
Okay.
Great. Ms. Wiltie?
Thank you. I just have a quick question regarding the personnel document. We see resignations month after month, and I'm just curious if we are completing exit interviews. Is Courtney in attendance to answer that?
She is.
She said yes.
We do.
Yes, they are, yes, doing exit interviews. Yep.
Great, thank you.
Just a correction, the minutes, budget transfer number 2 from the last meeting. It should be 364,494.41, not 264,000. So there's a typo there. If you could fix that.
So can I amend the motion? Can we take them one by one? Can we not? Or since there's a motion on the table? Can't hear.
You could approve it
With,
with
okay.
corrections.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to take a roll call vote to approve both the personnel document and the approval of the meeting minutes with the correction to budget transfer number 2 as a typo. Ms. Cupie?
Yes.
Mr. Fagella?
Yes.
Ms. Rodia?
Yes, as long as that position is going to be in next month's document for approval.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mrs. Wiltie?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes, passes 6-0. Moving on to items for action and discussion, there were no budget transfers. So we'll go to proposed policies for adoption. We had already approved the first read, so this would be the final adoption. We'll take them one by one. First, I will entertain a motion to approve the policy on graduation requirements.
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Cupie,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Fagella. Any discussion? Okay.
Karen, okay. I was going to say, just, for those who aren't reading through, all the meeting materials that are posted online, the graduation requirements, that policy was updated to meet some state standards, in graduation requirements, and also just to bring us up to levels of other districts that are around surrounding districts. So it's a good modification to our current policy.
Seeing no other discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 6-0. I'll entertain a motion to approve the policy, the revision to the face masks and coverings.
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Cupie.
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Rodia. Any discussion? Ms. Wiltie?
Can we please have Ms. Rodia describe in detail?
I'm sorry.
She'd like a summary just of the revision of is that what you're asking for?
Yes,
What
please,
the
just
revision
like
was?
Ms. Cooper just did.
It's the mask policy that is updated in conjunction with the state requirements, and it'll be revisited as those requirements change. Right now,
Thank you. It's
everybody
just-
is masked that comes into the school buildings.
And the specific change that was made was to adjust the language because it had 6 feet, and it was changed to say 3 to 6 feet because they modified how they were, the parameters of which they're, boxing a child to determine potential contact.
Thank you. It's important to have a summary.
Right. Most policies that are revised are in my gosh, because due to changes made at the state level first, right? So, okay, Mr. Fagella?
Yeah, I just want to make a comment on that. Other town buildings do not follow this policy, obviously, because it's an education policy. And I do believe the mayor has said that you could enter other town buildings without a mask. I think it's optional. But this is within the schools. It's a policy, education policy based on the state. Just in case there's any confusion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 6-0. Moving on to the proposed for adoption the graduation date for Stratford Public Schools. Dr. Asunde had spoken briefly about this at our last meeting, that they were between two dates, that new state law lets us choose a date so families know, and it is proposed for June 13th, 2021 at 6 p.m. So I will entertain a motion to approve. Was that Ms. Cupie?
And I'll second it.
Seconded by Mrs. Rodia. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Abstentions? Or deny, whatever. Okay. This is like, I'm losing my groove here for some reason. So, passes 6-0. Moving on. I will entertain a motion to approve the agreement between the Stratford Board of Education and the Stratford Educators Association.
So moved.
Motion made by Mrs. Corcoran.
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Wiltsey. Ms. Wiltsey?
I would just like to take a minute to thank two of our board members, Vinny and Andrea, for being so diligent, committing so much of their time and energy into this. Late nights, early mornings, and by record, the first time in decades that we've gotten to this agreement before arbitration. So thank you very much, Andrea and Vinny, for all of your hard work, for being so very diligent and efficient for the students and for the teachers of Stratford.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 6-0. I'll be adding a 7th item to the agenda under items for action, which is the decision to the custodial union's level 3 grievance.
I'd like to make a motion to send a letter to the custodial union denying the level 3 grievance.
There's a motion made by Mrs. Corcoran.
Sorry, is point of order, don't you need to get a vote to add to the agenda?
I think I can just use chairman's powers to add it to the agenda, correct, Teresa? I don't have to need a vote to add it. I can't hear.
She could just do, okay.
Yeah, I think I can just add it. So there's a motion on the floor,
Second.
Second.
seconded by Ms. Wiltsey. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 6-0. Tabled items?
Sorry, I'm dinging a lot.
Ms. Wiltsey?
I'd like to make a motion to move the residency verification report off the table.
There's a motion on the floor to take residency verification off the table.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mrs. Rodia. It is now off the table.
Thank you. Is Mr. Imbro in attendance this evening?
He is not.
Okay, so we've been asking for an updated report and a presentation from Mr. Imbro, so I'd like it to go on the record that we still have no update regarding the residency verification for the Stratford Public Schools, and I would request it again for our next meeting.
Any other comments, questions from board members?
It needs to be included in the agenda monthly. And he needs to step up and do it.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to put it back on the table.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Vigela, seconded by Ms. Cupie. It is now back on the table. Moving on to committee assignments and reports. Curriculum committee did not meet. Finance committee, Mrs. Rodia.
We met prior to tonight's meeting. There were no budgetary transfers. Everything else is was just reported on. So thank you.
Thank you. Planning, Mr. Vigela.
I would just have a comment or question on the previous item, even though it's back on the table, and that is, was the residency officer requested, was his presence requested?
Yes,
Multiple.
Okay.
it was last
Hopefully
meeting and it was this
He
meeting.
will attend the next meeting.
Yep.
As far as planning committee, I think Dr. Asunde gave us a very good update as to what took place. I would just like to comment that the next board support plant and planning, because when I took over the chair, plant and planning had not been an active committee for a number of years with previous boards. And we were able to accomplish quite a bit with the report from the architects, Mr. Snyder, and the report from SLA, which did a population projection. And now the two are going to be married, and hopefully the new board will take that information and take a look at the school district if there is adjustments necessary in terms of district lines to be changed or whatever to balance out the students' populations in the different schools, whether the schools need to be refurbished in certain areas. That needs to continue. And the new board, I hope, will appoint people on that committee who will provide a little continuity from what previously took place. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fagella.
Allison, I just want to say thank you to Vinny for, I remember sitting in the audience 4 years ago when Eric said, you know, you're voluntold, basically.
Yeah, he volunteered.
To head up
Yes.
that committee because it had been dormant for so long, and Vinny has really worked hard on reviving that committee and doing really, really good work for the district through that committee. So I just want to thank you personally for all your efforts on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the CES has not been listed for the last couple of meetings.
Okay.
And I just want to mention that we do sit on the board of CES. I have, and one of them, Andrea is going to take over. But CES is an important adjunct in helping the board. At their last meeting, which was on November 4th, they did say that they've acquired additional building, and that is helping them consolidate some of their learning centers and resources and expanding their capacity. And they do help with special education programs, etc. So I just wanted to add that report, if I may, to the list, and in the future, if they could be listed, and Andrea could provide the report. Thank you.
Thank you, and noted to add that to next month's agenda. Okay, there was no liaison or policy. I will entertain a motion to go into executive session for the two items listed. First with the 6 board members, 1 virtual, Dr. Sunday and Attorney Cotter.
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Cupie.
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Rodia. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? We are going into...
If I may, friendly amendment, I think Courtney Brown should be the meeting.
Okay, I'd like to change the motion made or amend the motion to also include Courtney Brown to come into executive session, and we will be going to the lecture hall for executive session. Okay. I think I'm just going to carry her. Okay, so we're going into executive session at 8:29. I'd like to call this Board of Education meeting back to order from executive session at 9:07 p.m. For a point of clarification, there were no votes taken in executive session. I will entertain a motion to accept the recommendation of Attorney Cotter.
So moved.
Motion made by Mrs. Rodia, seconded by Ms. Cupie. I'm going to take a roll call vote. Ms. Cupie?
Yes.
Mr. Fagella?
Yes.
Mrs. Rodia?
Yes.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Ms. Wiltie?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes, passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Okay.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
Happy Thanksgiving.
Any closing remarks? That's it?
Can I say it has been an honor and a pleasure to serve on this board with the 4 of you. I'm including Bob too, so somewhere out there I hope he hears me. But it has been just a pleasure. I've learned so much from you guys, and I've really loved the collaborative way that we've been able to work together, and I'm going to deeply miss the four of you. So thank you.
I miss you as well.
And I want to wish the new board, you guys, and your compatriots, good luck.
Yes.
And I think you're going to need it. But
They are. I can hear that clearly.
You need to instruct the new board members as to how to behave.
Yeah. And make sure you utilize CAPE to the fullest.
I will
miss you guys.
entertain. Miss QP.
I got to know you guys just a little bit better, right? With all the Zooms and going through the superintendent search and things like that. And, I will miss the makeup of our team here. So see you around town.
Yes.
I said it wasn't without our challenges these past 4 years. I said at some points, definitely a roller coaster. But I appreciate everybody's hard work and what we've all done. And thank you again, Dr. Sunday. It's been a pleasure. All right, I will entertain a motion to adjourn at 9:09 p.m. Motion made by Ms. Cupie.
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Rodia. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Meeting is adjourned at 9:09 p.m. Thank you, everyone.